So, Sadik, first of all, welcome to Interested Minds, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. I've been looking forward for this conversation because your work sits at the interaction of entrepreneurship, global trade, and also government collaborations. Something that most people don't get to hear about, right? And before we get into all of that, I'd like our audience to know who the person behind the company is, like who Sadik is beyond the business. And if someone met you outside the office, what kind of a person would they get to know?
All right, nice to meet you, Kalim. Thanks for inviting me. My name is Sadik Kocabasha. I'm 40 years old, and I'm a father of two sons, 12 and 6 years as of today. And my wife is a clinical psychologist. I'm a mostly family guy, and when I'm outside of the office, I usually spend my time with my kids. Most of the time, if I'm not with the kids, I'm playing volleyball or padel or tennis, this kind of things. Pretty much every day, I want to spend, like 1 hour or 2 hour of sports, which I really enjoy and recharge myself. Um, Other than that, uh, pretty much, like every family guy. Imagine like pretty much all of us, like wake up early in the morning, come to the office, work until 6:30, go home, eat dinner, spend 2 hours with the kids, and then go to some volleyball. I mean, that's my joy. Like other than business, that's my joy time. Uh, and one more thing, if I want to add, wherever I go, if I go to a picnic, if I go to a restaurant, I'm pretty much always like thinking, how can I automate this? If I'm at a hotel, is this receptionist really necessary? I want to automate and, like rethink about each business that I am faced with. That's who I am pretty much, Kalim.
That's perfect because I see that you are managing your entire work life balance just like how a 9 to 6 job works, right? So you have time for the family, you have time for yourself. That's absolutely amazing to hear because which most of the founders these days lack, where they are like just office work. They don't give much time to the family, and you are doing it perfectly fine. And also, when you were growing up, did you ever imagine that one day you'd be working with the governments across different countries, or has this journey surprised even you?
How can I imagine, Karim? Like as a kid's mind, you can think about firefighters, police officers, teachers. I mean, what we see around us is determines what we are thinking about it or what we are imagining it. But I was
Right.
quite lucky on that because like my father was working in an international shipping company, and
Hmm.
uh, for me at the age of 4 or 5, I recalled the memories that I was I was entering to the captain's room at the
Hmm.
Mersin International Port, and I was, like recalling that memories. And we were, since my father was, like in the shipping business, I was always like at home. My father was using a walkie-talkie back in that days, like talking to the captains. About their needs, etc. Uh, that Coming back to your question, of course, I wasn't, like imagining to work with the governments. Uh, but today I see that it's a very big necessity and it's a very big luck that, like we come to a point as a family company and, like serving some uh, governments to help to collect the right revenue from their import taxes.
That's great because what I understood is that your journey started with your father's business, while your father was already part of many of those things, right? And now
Yes.
that has been an incredible journey from father to starting up your own business now. Let's help our audience understand the business itself because I'll admit, even I didn't know much about this space before we connected. So let's make this very simple. Suppose I own a rice business here in India, and tomorrow I received my first export order from, let's assume, the African city Djibouti. And what happens from that moment? The moment the shipment leaves my warehouse, and what stage does your company SCK comes into picture, and what role do you play in this entire journey?
All right. Whenever you receive any shipment order from, let's call the port of Djibouti, the country called Djibouti,
Mhm.
you first you pack your goods, your rices, which is like India, very famous with their exports of rices,
Right.
and the first freight forwarder comes and pick up the container from your warehouse. That's we
Hmm.
are not involved. Then your custom broker, like prepare your export documentation and declaration, which we are not also in part. Where we join to is whenever you call your shipping line, such as MSC, Maersk, Hanjin, whatever, whichever shipping line you are working with, they immediately tell you that, all right, if you are shipping to Djibouti, you need an ECTN document, or ACD document, Advanced Cargo Declaration, or Electronic Cargo Tracking Note. These
Hmm.
documents that we provide, so that you just like join to our portal, and you fill up some forms and you upload your documentation over there, such as like bill of lading, commercial invoice, export declaration, these kind of documents. And with the help of these documents, we do a forensic check, and we do a like value check, and pretty much we do not warn the exporter at the point, but we
Hmm.
just check that if the numbers matches, and we store all the documents in our database. And
Hmm.
after 20 days, usually from Mumbai to Djibouti, it takes 20 25 days, your goods arrive to Djibouti. Importer shows his documents, his set of documents to the custom officer and says, I want to collect these goods because these are my goods. I already
Right.
paid it, right? That custom officer now has a secret power by us, which he just like scanned the BL code, bill of lading document, and sees that what you in India declared as the value, kilogram, HS code, tax tariff, etc. So that before than us, the custom officer has only one source of information, which was the importer. Now,
Hmm.
the custom officer in Djibouti, with the help of our software, he has at least two sources of information, from exporter and from the importer. And why I'm saying at least, there's also like a third, which we do the forensic check at the behind, and we say that from Alibaba, we know that the estimate rice prices around this season is about this price, so that the custom officer knows how much should it be in regular cases. Of course, there's
Right.
like irregular cases.
Hmm.
That's, I mean, I don't want to, like talk too much about this particular case. And you got the point. We give extra layer of information to the governments, to the custom officers in their countries, so that they uh, get the right amount of import taxes where necessary.
Okay. So what I have understood here is that you will be like a bridge between the importers and the governments, wherein the right price is declared when it comes to customs, so that the importers or the exporters are not playing around with the import duties. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
with this, I
But
would
maybe
believe
maybe I
that.
can add one. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So with this, I would believe that most of the import duties which are hidden and which would be a loss to the government will be recovered from your help, is what I would feel, because the right amount of import duties or whatever the goods are being declared, or we can also stop illegal trade between the two countries, is something which you are doing.
That's perfectly right. First of all, I would say that this system is not 100% bulletproof. I'm telling
Mhm.
you because like people will say, "Hey, what if like this guy knows that guy and they talk on the phone?" And of course, there's like what ifs. But the global trade, more than 80% is done with the corporates and like other corporates, and they
Mhm.
don't cheat with the like numbers very often because they have systems, or some of them are already like open to the public. uh, that's it. And the second question, why import taxes is necessary, because like in one single word, a sentence, I can say that import taxes are necessary for the local community to grow. As an end user, we will be saying that, okay, do not put taxes on that, do not put taxes on that. But if there's no taxes, there are very powerful countries such as China, such as India, such as United States. They, like without the taxes, they cover up all your industry, fill up all
Mhm.
the goods of your local industry, and your local producer cannot compete with them. And like pretty much at the first day, it seems like a extra, like extra tax or extra burden, but in the long term, it gives benefit to the country. This kind of systems.
That's right, because taxes plays a major role when it comes to running an entire country together. And you have spent years in international trade, right? What's something you have learned that completely changed the way you look at global business right now? Because something that would surprise most people watching this today, something which people are not aware of, which you have learned with this global business.
Okay, basically, I can say that import taxes protects essential domestic production. That's number one.
Hmm.
Without local industry, because the like in the short term it's okay, but in the long term the buying power goes away, disappears.
Hmm.
And from like global trade, custom officers or port authorities are nowadays still randomly checking the containers.
Hmm.
But instead of like randomly checking the containers, we give them some indicators, so that instead of like checking 40 random containers, we give them a power tool that they check instead of 44 containers, but in that, so that they find it. And uh, with the help of artificial intelligence nowadays, even cheating is becoming easier. Like producing new kind of like set of documents or that kind of things.
Right.
And our systems are also like spotting them easily, and we inform the officers, so that the officers are really armed with a like a uh, high end technology. Um,
Hmm.
did I answer your question well, or did I answer it in a very my way
I
of perspective? Please correct me. I don't want to, like bore
it's all right.
everyone with my specific
No,
business. Can you guide
what
me?
I actually wanted to know is that we had a long journey when it comes to global trade, right? And was there something which you have learned from this particular market, like how the market is changing and how is it? Some things which you might have learned as a person, which have made you better because of this global business.
Oh, yeah, the market. I mean, I'm doing this business for 15 years, and the market is changing very rapidly. I mean, maybe we can talk about it, but like we weren't aware of that Hormuz Strait is such a important thing in the world shipping line, because whenever the oil prices goes up, the some African countries, I mean, I'm mostly dealing with the African countries. Some African countries cannot get pasta or like essential goods to their country. This is very interesting because why? I mean, at the beginning we were like having difficulty to understand it, but then we understand it because when the oil prices goes up, also the container prices goes up.
Right.
In Africa, average container price, I mean, the value of the goods of the price is something around $7,000 or $8,000, because they are pretty much second-hand cars, or like pasta, or like that kind of low value goods
Hmm.
in average. And when the container price goes up, the margin of the shipping is a lot higher on these products. But on the other hand, if even the container price goes from $5,000 to $8,000, American buyers doesn't care, because their container is full of iPhones, or like full of high-end goods, so that they don't change it. So the what we summarizing up, pretty much we can see that uh, some of the African markets, or like oil price.
All right. Uh, so when you look at India today from a global trade perspective, how do you see our position? What strengths do you think world recognizes in India today?
Oh, coming to India is the well, massive. First of all, massive shift to high-end, high-value manufacturing hub. India is very powerful on that. I mean, we can, like, I'm a space, like fan, enthusiast, and I see that, like how you're sending spaceships to the moon, and like India is producing real high-end products, and at the same time, yes, for example, like. Uh, some European countries are also, like producing high-end products. But at the end, also India has also big local domestic market. So whatever they produce can be scaled with even the inland market, which also, China's power was also that, like when they're building their BYD cars, they know that in the local market they can sell so many. And also you are, like in your local market you can sell so many. Also you can. That's why you are uh, dominating. Indians are dominating the African market, and by saying dominating is also. I see that many Indians that I met in Africa, in Nigeria, in Cameroon, in uh, Chad, they are very hardworking, and they, like left their cozy homes and come to Africa and doing international trade, which is a very big, passionate way of doing business. And final thing, maybe I can say that also by politics. I don't know, your local politic situation, but from global point of view, what I see is you made a deal with European Union,
Right.
free trade agreement at the beginning of the year, which is very smart and wise thing. And you will be dominating European market, because also, like from my personal friends, which they producing toothpaste in Lithuania, they are moving their factory to India, and so that they were already, like selling to the European market, and now they see that they can make same production a lot in an affordable way in India, and dominate not only the European market, the world market. These are my perspective on Indians in the India on global trade.
Very rightly said. And India is no longer still, sitting in the back foot these days, and we are always there to come up. And one day we will be there, ruling the world. That is what we all Indians are looking forward for, with the type of development which is happening, with the type of new things which are coming out to India. One day India will be recognized no longer as the underdeveloping country. It will be now recognized as a most developed country in the world, and looking forward for that. And looking ahead over the next decade, which Indian industries do you believe have the biggest opportunity when it comes to global leaders in exports?
I mean, you know, I cannot talk a lot confident about the future because every week now like the future changes with the
Right.
help of the new technology. But it's obvious that like you have very uh, big power in chemicals, uh,
Hmm.
pharmaceuticals also in India, because we see that in Africa we pretty much see what the goods are going to Africa from which countries, then what are the commodities over there, and we see that Africa is buying lots of pharmaceutical products from India, which is very high end thing,
Right.
and chemicals, uh, also high-end machinery, mining equipments, etc. I mean, these are my observation, and you. As at the beginning of the conversation, you're already sending satellites to the moon, and whatever industry you want to be successful, you always like the important thing is like product market fits. Like
Right.
you can produce pretty much everything. I mean, I'm even using Zoho, which is an Indian products
Right.
on emails or some other things. But the thing is, product market fits. What Africa needs, what the world needs. Of course, India will find it and like produce it in the right way.
That's amazing to hear. And talking about Zoho, Zoho started, it is still a bootstrap company, is what I believe. And they're ruling the world when it comes to emails and marketings and many of the CRMs, what they have.
Yeah, in
That
India, I even see that. In London, when I visit there, I see the billboards everywhere. Zoho, how good it is. You know, it's not less than any Google product.
That's right. And we are planning towards being the global leaders in all the technologies possible. And I have noticed one thing, that your company, SCK, has built a strong presence across many African cities or African countries. And I'm curious, what makes Africa such an important focus for your business? And do you see yourself expanding into other regions of the world in the future?
Oh, okay. I mean, first of all, it's pretty much there's always like luck included in the business life.
Hmm.
And we started with Angola at the beginning of our journey of our company. So that's why, like an Angolan authority is, like giving good testimony on us. And we, like started to work with Djibouti, and they, like give a good testimony to their other colleague in another African country. I mean, spreads out like that. But also we changed the way of doing business, our way of doing business to Africa. Instead of like asking, give us, please, we set up this solution to you, and please give us $2 million in advance. Instead of like saying this, we change our narrative to, we will make your country collect more revenue, and
Hmm.
we are only requesting this amount of share, whatever we collect as an extra, so that from the day one is a zero investment to the governments that we are working with. I mean, we can work with El Salvador, we can work with Panama, we can work with many other countries, Bangladesh. It doesn't have to be only in Africa. I mean, because we've set up the system and we have a huge global network, because a global network is a very necessity in this because whenever a Chinese company is trying to submit their documents to the system, they also have a local we also have a local representative over there because this is a shipping business. Money should come fast.
Right.
We cannot wait 2 or 3 days of Swift time,
Mhm.
or document check should be also done with the local knowledge. You understand the point.
Yes.
Coming back to like our product fit to Africa is just like we turn our way to what they like, and it's working good so far. Uh, and also, Africa is a very interesting place. We don't hesitate to travel them. My brother is a very active and successful businessman in our company. And he pretty much does all the like hard work in our company. I can say that. This is not only Sadik and plus 35 employees of us. They just like call us, please be in Djibouti in 2 days. Can you do that? We are fine. Okay, go. If it's a Corona time, still we go there. Like we are hardworking, they are hardworking. It just matches up.
Nice. Uh, Having a small team and building a massive impact is something what I have seen within your company and your with the conversations we even had earlier. And from a small team to a larger impact, this is something what even we are trying to bring across, because it's not that to bring impact we need a huge team and we need so many people working around. No, we can also have a small handful of team, but we can work in a way that we can make even the small things bigger one day. And that is something which I have always liked with what you are doing right now, Sadiq. And that's really amazing. And when it comes to global things, and these days it's almost impossible to watch the news without hearing about wars, sanctions, shipping disruptions, or even border tensions, right? Most people don't realize that these events have a direct impact on global business. So, whenever a conflict breaks out anywhere in the world, for example, let's say talk about recent ones about the Red Sea crisis and the Strait of Hormuz. For someone who is not from the logistic industry, can you explain why these locations are so important to the world trade?
Oh, because they are the bottleneck. Because whenever uh, a country strikes a shipping vessel, tanker, let's say,
Hmm.
they just like send like $5,000 of drone or $10,000 of drone, and they are sending it and they are shooting the target. At that second, first of all, it starts with the insurance companies because all the vessel owners insure their ships, and insurance company says
Hmm.
that okay, whatever you are sending to that uh, area of the world, I'm not just talking about Iran conflict or whatever conflict, it may change all the time, but the insurance companies smell
Right.
the smell the blood first, and they just like increase their insurance values, or they just say says that okay, wherever you send ship, we are not going to insure that. At that point, the shipping companies stop sending their vessels to there because they don't want to take risk. And whoever is sending their ships is willing to like take that risk, is also willing to get two twice of the or three times or whatever like times of the revenue they were getting 1 week ago.
Hmm.
At this point, shipping prices increase. When the shipping prices increase, the oil prices increase, the polyethylene, polypropylene prices increase. Or at this point, even like when we are buying a diaper for our baby, it increases automatically. So this is what we pretty much see. Like even though, for example, like we produce our uh, goods from, let's say, I'm buying oil from not from that area of the world or Iran. I'm buying my oil from Texas. Still, like Texas is reconsidering their selling price because of that conflict over there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, war risk, fear
So
driven fuel jumps, ripple
it has
effect.
a direct impact on entire commodities what we purchase on daily basis as well. From the oils to even the groceries, and also some daily essentials for kids. No matter whatever the things are, so it is directly
Everything on this
impacting.
pan,
Yes.
like everything.
That's something which we all hope that solves one day and everyone has come into peace.
Yes. Yes. It
Right.
shouldn't be this difficult, but it started, like back in the,
Very
you know,
long back, and it's
very,
yeah.
very, very long time, not hundreds of years. This is the, like thousands of years of cases, as we know.
Right. And we really hope all the conflicts throughout the borders are sorted very soon and everyone live with peace.
Yeah,
And
hopefully, inshallah.
without getting into any confidential things, has there ever been a situation where your team came across a shipment that highlighted just how important compliance and border security really are? Which, for example, maybe you might have come across certain products inside the shipment which are very much, alarming for a border security.
Absolutely. There are so many. Okay. For example, when there's like chicken flu occurred,
Hmm.
the the usually countries do not uh, know what the product is coming to their country uh, at the beginning. Like you just like from India put your goods and send it to there at the port. When they are doing the import process, import clearance, they just see that, okay, this is a chicken product and we don't want this, which gives a very big congestion to the port because, it's already there. They need to store it some other area and then they need to resend it back, which
Hmm.
none of the port is happy, none of the shipping line is happy, or none of the importer or exporter is happy. Everyone is losing. With our system, when a country decides, okay, I'm not getting chicken product anymore because of the chicken flu,
Hmm.
they just like from our system with one click, they stop. Uh, from India, you are just like, like entering your system and you are saying that I'm sending chicken to uh, Somali. And uh, over there, it just like stops you at the beginning when you are entering the data at the beginning. Somali does not accept chicken until this date. All right, so that you save your shipping price, you save your chickens, and you just like sell it to local market or like Bangladesh, wherever you want to sell. Because you already know that your chickens are safe. You got the point, right? So this is a like main use of our product. Or some we were serving Libya. When we were serving Libya over there, it was like alcohol can be like banned, and they just like stop alcohol being sent. And also one of our extra layer of security is whenever a good, let's say you send 20 containers of fertilizers,
Hmm.
and it's on the Djibouti port. We warn the custom officers if that container is at the Djibouti port and do not cleared, I mean, received from the port for more than 10 days. Because, for example, fertilizers, when they wait, they produce extra chemicals. And when they, like see a spark, they can exploit, exploit,
Right.
exploit, exploit. Um, so in this case, it's a, I mean, thanks God, like in our ports that we are serving, we never faced with a situation like that. But we are also eliminating the risk of doing that, because in Beirut, it happened. Fertilizers weighed at the port and it explode, and all the ports went down. These are top two cases that I receive. And other than that, of course, like when you say that this is a ceramic, it has another HS code. When you say this is a porcelain, another
Mhm.
HS code. When you say it's a glass, it's another HS code. So we also know that this producer in, let's say, Turkey, sending always porcelain to other countries, but this time they indicated that it's a ceramic. It's another HS code. We just
Mhm.
again, flag it, so that the custom officers, even though it's a very difficult to distinctive
Identify. Yes.
to determine it, they just like see that, okay, this producer is always sending porcelain, but this time they indicated it's a ceramic. Let's check it out. Like, let's send this product to the labs, and they decide, universities, and they decide what product is this. We help the governments on this kind of cases.
That's nice. It's kind of, you are a non-government custom officer for the governments right now. It's just that you're not
Yes.
directly employed with the government.
We are just like whispering to their ears, like, hey, you should check this product. Or, of course, we are not the law officers. We cannot
Right.
decide on anything, but we just like whispering them, to help them.
Just like a naughty kid at home, complaining to parents, "Mommy, he did something wrong."
True,
Okay.
true, true.
So now let's shift gears a little and talk about entrepreneurship, because I think there are some valuable lessons here for the founders, because a lot of Indians startups dream about selling products around the world, right? From your experience, what's the biggest piece of advice you'd give someone who's planning to enter the international market for the very first time?
All right. One of our customers, yeah, I mean, one of, we see a product from Mersin Port is going to Cameroon, and there's one factory and there's one another warehouse. They are sending it, and they are sending the goods all the time, all year long, etc. And they are, like producing the small powder of that, like instant drinks
Hmm.
in that area. And they say that, uh, our product is getting by one customer, and our factory line is full of that customer. Eh, We don't need a second customer even. So, I mean, I'm giving this example because whenever like produce a product, and like you go to an international fair, you just like find maybe one single customer, and that one single customer can fulfill all your factory's
Right.
production line. Uh,
That's right.
so, I mean, I'm not in a position to give advice to everyone, but I can say that international exhibitions and fairs are very important. And the second thing is also local exhibitions are important, because
Hmm.
in Dubai or in China, maybe you can go and see thousands of people, but at the end you need one or five, maximum of five customers for that year. And if you go to, for example, an international exhibition in Durban, South Africa, or like in Africa, they are making this. On that exhibitions, there is not too much international players, and you are the like valuable person who like came all the way to India to his market, and
Right.
brother, this is my product, this is me here, and I can sell you this. And they can you can uh, set you in a position in a different than in Guangzhou fair in China. Uh,
Mm,
I can say this, and also, uh, for example, like whenever we are expanding, we are always working with local partners. Uh, being work, I mean, sharing the profit is a very important thing. To always try to find local partners if you want to go global. You cannot,
mm.
like say all the profit to yourself and make it big. And maybe I can say that also, like focus on one or two countries for, I mean, but this is not a lifetime focus. Yeah, for 40 days, just focus on one country, like trying to find the first customer from there. If it doesn't work, go to the other country. But, like today, Cameroon, tomorrow, Djibouti, the day after Benin, the day after Angola, I think it doesn't work that way.
That's a pretty good piece of advice, because we should always have to, first study the market of that particular country before getting in. And the best way is to get into those international exhibitions, where we can export, we can showcase our product and get to know what people of that particular country are actually have the feedback on our product before entering even into the market. And also having one local person from each country in our team will help us scale the product better, because they will have more a way, they will know how to communicate with the local people and how to showcase that product, or how to position that particular product in the country. And that was a pretty good piece of advice for any founders who are planning to shift their business globally. And
When I was, like, sorry, one thing, because I see that my answer was quite maybe arrogant, like to move to, like buying a plane ticket and go to a, like Cameroon. Yeah, it's expensive. Okay, I can maybe rephrase it in a way like this. Even on TikTok, even on Instagram, you can still, like target one single country at a time, such as like
right,
this week, this month, I'm targeting my ads on Cameroon. I'm targeting my ads on this. You got the point, right? Because you
I
don't
got
have to,
it.
like put $5,000 of plane ticket and move to Cameroon is hard thing, and maybe not of all our audiences are uh, ready for that.
That is also a fantastic idea, because social media is present everywhere these days. Internet, you have, it's like you have the world in your palm, and you can use it as much as possible. But I would still suggest visit the place once before entering the market. That would be a personal visit. For example, the expos which we were talking about, if a person visits there personally, he would also be able to look out at the how the country is, and how he can build that particular presence in that particular country, is what I would feel. I understand social media is there and everything is there with us, but still experiencing it ourselves as a founder, that would make a bigger change or impact when it comes to expansion globally.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right,
Because when you see that, you also understand how should I change my product to fit to this market. Like
right.
when you are, like selling this man, if you're selling to the European market, maybe red and black and white stripe is necessity. But over there, they just say that what's the price? What is the price? And you just like make it all red or all black, or even do not, like paint at all. And like with that 2 cents down, you can dominate that market. I mean, you just like see this opportunity when you are in the market because you see the other products.
Right,
In my country, it's like this, and in this country, it's like that.
that's right. And one thing which I want my viewers to know is that what exactly is a business to government business is, because we have heard more about B2B, B2C, D2C, but not much about B2G. And if an entrepreneur want to build a company in that space, that is into B2G, where and what do you suggest for them to begin with?
I see. I see. Here, uh, okay. One second. I'm just like thinking because like right now we are seem to be selling software to the custom officers, but
Hmm.
on the other hand, we are selling some kind of like trust to that custom officers instead of a software because just like the banks are not selling money, like they give trust to me, so I lend my money, and they give trust to the other party, so he borrow that money. So
Hmm.
pretty much bank is a trust organization. Somehow we all trust to some particular banks, and just like that we like give a trust organization, we are a trust organization, so that the government says that okay, I trust you and you can like store my data, you can like evaluate the data that exporters are sending it, and that's it. And this trust, so why I'm like giving this example, because that's why I can say, like if you are building a better software than us, still hard to like get into the market because there's a trust issue. Somehow we like got introduced to these markets with other valuable decision makers in that countries, so that they know that their money is on safe hands, their data is on safe hands, and we uh, at the first day of the month we are like sending the money, and we didn't like skip that day for maybe like 20 years. That's why like that trust is just like continuing it, and they give us. So to particularly answer your questions, I can say that uh, whatever you it's not a one day, like you need to maybe have a really great product or something like that. If you are serving to one single state, and if you do it good and well, they ask you to produce a second product, or what if this happens, they ask you that, and you just like make your product better and better. And it's not in one day, but after 3 years, they just like call another colleague in another country, and they say that, okay, we are using this tool, why don't you use it? And then the other guy just like invite you to a tender. It happens that way. Uh,
Hmm.
so um, again, like pretty much by luck, we are here. I'm not going to brag about it. And hopefully anyone wants to be in this B2G business can get into that. And it's also very difficult, like to deal with the high-end decision makers. They sometimes just like call you, please be at my office
Hmm.
tomorrow at this hour, and you are in Istanbul, you just like fly like 12 hours or 8 hours to that country, and sometimes they are too busy and they just like meet you over there, and you just like come back. It's not a very shiny and
Right. That's correct.
enjoyable lifestyle, but we are happy with it. Alhamdulillah. Thank God.
But still, you are doing a wonderful job with this particular segment. And the thing what you said, the trust is something which is very much important, and the service what you provide and the consistency in it, that is something which is more important for anyone who want to get into any kind of business. Right. And
That's right.
finally, I'd like to end with something very much personal. Imagine a 22-year-old entrepreneur who is watching this conversation today. They have big dreams, but they're also not sure of where to begin with. Looking back at your journey, what advice would you give them if they want to build business that creates a meaningful and a global impact?
I see. Okay, your question is meaningful and global impact,
Okay,
which
I
is
just mean to
not
say
my
that. Yeah,
Okay.
I just mean to say that if I am a 22 years old kid and I want to start a business and I which create some meaning in the market and also I want to take it global, what advice would you give it to me?
All right. I mean, I don't know about the global part, but what my I mean personal advice and what I would do is pretty much like whenever I see a business opportunity, I would say that can everyone do this? If everyone can do this, it's like opening a coffee shop, but this time I'm putting a pink straw or like some very easy to copy and change is not for me. But instead of that, I would, like see in a coffee shop how is their logistics, how is their where they are buying the straws, or can I change anything on their? Can I
Hmm.
remove the cashier? Uh, you- I would look at that way, and again, I would be serving on B2B businesses instead of, I mean, B2C, customer instead of I would serve businesses. I would try to look at that way so that, like not everyone can see that opportunity is my main way of looking that. Uh, and yeah, this would be, or, like when they are, if they are working in a corporate, and if there's the like department of 5 to 7 people, and they are like working in an Excel or like anything particular, how can I automate this so that my company would be my first customer? Instead of like 5 person salary, I would charge them 2 person salary and outsource that particular business with no error. uh, I would do that. Like I give advice to 22 years olds to, if they're doing an intern
I
in
agree to
a
this point,
company.
Sadia. Because now if at all let's see let's talk about any of the application which is already there in the market. If I'm just copying the same application, that might not become a very good thing for me to launch. I need to see what best or what better change I can bring for the same market with the same product, so that change would become my USP, and with that particular USP I'll be able to reach the market very in a very positive manner. And that has been a wonderful you know advice which I would also provide to the end most of the people who are about to start a journey, because copying is easy but bringing change is not that easy. You need that consistency throughout, and
And also
it
maybe,
has,
like
yes.
for particular Indian market, I would say that uh, there's like nowadays carbon, I mean, since your Europe market will be free trade agreement, whatever you make, you are making a production, you can do a, like carbon free. They have like carbon emission regulations over there. And maybe, like even selling that carbon free certificate or giving advices to factories who can, like do the paperwork of that carbon emission regulatory things can be a huge, because the factory would pay $5,000 for each month to a company who
Right.
make them available to sell to Europe. I mean, the fancy business. I'm trying to always see the boring business that lots of paperwork, because he's in the production line and he doesn't want to deal with the paperwork. I mean, for them it's peanuts, that $5,000 for a factory. Try
That's true.
to be in that industry.
We should always think of 5 steps ahead before we start something, right? And also how can we make things better so that before anyone comes in we should be there available in that particular space.
Just
And
make your website available today,
right,
and like you start to request your first leads, and when they ask questions, you just like learn and do it for themselves, because he's already too busy. I mean, he can do that too, but he's too busy. He doesn't have another 30 minutes of his time, but you have
that's true.
all day long, and you can learn and do it for the company.
That's true. And that is something which is a great way to learn ourselves as well. And this has been a wonderful time with you, Sadik. And I have learned a
Thank you.
lot about B2G, how global businesses work, and what are the challenges we get during, if there are any conflicts between the global borders, and how can one start a global business or export business web staying here in India. And the insights what you have given us are very much meaningful and insightful to all of us, and I hope our viewers also enjoy and one again get inspired with this conversation and start something globally and create a global impact from India as well. Thank you so much, Sadi.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, and
Colin. Thank you very much.
thank you.